everyone, we're the founders of RapidEye. We're building AI-powered property inspection. A little bit of background on how we stumbled into this problem. My family's actually owned and managed Airbnbs for the last 10 years. The largest problem I found was that owners have almost no visibility into the problems which show up in those 4-hour turnover windows, as well as any cleaning mistakes which their cleaning team makes. Cleaners clean hundreds of homes per week, and they figure out the details of your home. With average star ratings of 4.75, a single bad review tanks bookings. Hiring an inspector to make sure all this happens safely costs $1,600 per home. That's why we built RapidEye to help owners and property managers who own hundreds of these types of homes fix this problem cleanly.
So not only is this process really expensive, but it's also super cumbersome for property managers. In that 4-hour turnover window, they have to send a cleaner in, clean the entire property. That cleaner is now uploading hundreds of photos into their property management system, and then an inspector has to drive to each house, which are often far apart, and inspect that based off of memory. And this is all before the next guest comes in. We replaced that manual process with RapidEye. RapidEye takes the photos and videos that cleaners are already taking, and it analyzes it, which allows us to be faster, cheaper, and even more accurate than manual inspections.
Yeah, so a little bit how that process works. After a cleaner is done cleaning the home, they go ahead and take a guided inspection through our platform. We make sure that they cover the entire home, leaving no areas where there could be damage or missed items. Our AI pipeline then verifies this video and photos in comparison to previous weeks. This accounts for the baseline, which is taken through Matterport, as well as all the previous weeks, so that we can see changes over time and report to owners what guests have damaged and what they need to do before the next guest arrives. Lastly, we provide a report saying what needs to be done and what changes need to be made and any insurance claims the owners need to make. Our team, my name is Rohan, I'm the CEO and I lead technical and product. Previously, I worked at computer vision at Rivian, and I complete spatial AI research here at CMU.
I'm Sam. I'm human-computer interaction and business here at CMU. I was previously growth at a YC startup, and I handle B2B enterprise sales as well as the front-end design. So the total addressable market of just short-term rentals is 360 million. But for all assets that we plan to deploy this on, think hotels, think apartments, think multifamily, this is $45 billion. And as far as the progress we've made so far, in the last 5 months, we already have 750 properties that are deployed and using the product. We have 1,200 inspections completed and over 1 million photos analyzed.
A little bit about the pricing. We charge $10 to $15 per month per property, and this is a huge savings as these can cost up to $200K per property management companies. Our defensibility, we have a huge data moat, we're a first mover, and there's a huge integration moat here as it takes time to learn the baseline of the home.
Hi, how do you guys acquire customers? If you're like charging, $15, whatever, like what's your like scalable go-to-market motion to where like the LTV to CAC makes sense?
Yeah, so specifically the short-term rental industry, these operators are all really tightly connected. There's lots of conferences, and we see, on LinkedIn, a lot of our customers we currently have actually come inbound from our LinkedIn, which I think shows the scalability. We also do cold outbound, but we think that, as property managers start talking about this, their industry is very tight. Yeah.
How translatable is this technology to other areas of real estate that are also really large? I'm thinking, Zillow, CoStar, Airbnb, timeshares, whatnot.
Yeah, definitely. The core pipeline technology works for almost any property and asset. So we can even apply this to cars, yachts. Our pipeline actually goes ahead and reconstructs the 3D and allows us to understand the space in 3D, which is the big game changer compared to just using a VLM to find these damages.
For you to run your AI pipeline, have you calculated the cost that is incurred by the infrastructure to make sure that the revenue model makes profitable sense for you?
Yeah, so for most inspections, we get a total infrastructure charge of about $1 to $1.25 for an average 10-minute video, which covers like your standard like 2-story, 4-bedroom condo.
what's been the feedback from some of like the cleaners who now have to like, in addition to clean the home, like now have to video it, and like just curious what the feedback's been there.
Yeah, so they actually love it because previously they were taking 200 to 400 photos per home. So that was a really cumbersome process. And these cleaners are always looking to document the proof of like that they actually did their job, because many guests come in and just complain, hey, the beds were dirty, this was dirty, just to get a refund. So this is actually giving cleaners a huge safety barrier to make sure that they can document their work and not get blamed when a guest just wants a free refund.
How does Marriott solve this problem?
Yeah, so I actually just talked with the hotel manager this past week, and they also have manual inspectors who come and actually take a look at every single room. So they don't count a room clean until a cleaner goes in, and then an inspector actually goes in and checks every part of the room once again.
I have a question about the moat. Because you mentioned something about it'll take time for people to build things. AI is getting pretty fast. So how exactly do you think this moat will stay strong as you can one-shot things with Cloud Code?
Yeah, so actually in here, there's nothing about like actually building. Maybe the first mover, we are just the first ones doing this in short-term rentals. But the big moats are the data moat, where we have all this proprietary data in the domain, as well as we have this baseline over weeks of these properties. You know, somebody would have to build this up over time to understand how the properties changed over time.